Most people think stealth means invisible. It doesn't. It means delaying detection long enough to kill the enemy before they even know you're there. From the smiling failure of Boeing to the $2 billion flying wing that can level a city, we are ranking every single major stealth aircraft ever flown to find out which one truly owns the shadows. Ranking World War II planes is easy. You look at kill counts. But stealth is different. It's a game of physics, classified codings, and radar cross-section, RCS. To make this list, we're judging these 18 models on 3 things: their signature reduction, their aerodynamic trade-offs, and their combat legacy. No filler, no prototypes that never left the drawing board, only the birds that actually touched the sky. Let's start at the bottom. Tier D, the experimental and limited. Rank 18, Boeing X-32. Coming in dead last isn't a lack of tech, but a failure of design. The Boeing X-32 is famous for its gaping smile, a massive intake required to feed its direct lift engine. While it was a masterpiece of engineering, that huge opening was a radar nightmare. During the Joint Strike Fighter competition, it couldn't match the F-35's performance without Boeing having to literally redesign the wings and tail mid-contest. It was innovative, but it was a dead end. Rank 17, Lockheed have Blue. This isn't a fighter, it's a flying proof of concept. In the 70s, computers weren't powerful enough to calculate stealth on curved surfaces, so Lockheed used fasting, flat plates to bounce radar away. It worked so well that the radar operator thought the plane had fallen off the pedestal during ground tests. But here's the catch. It was aerodynamically unstable on all 3 axes. Without fly-by-wire computers constantly twitching the flaps, it would have tumbled out of the sky in seconds. Both prototypes crashed, but they paved the way for the Nighthawk. Rank 16, Northrop Tacit Blue. Nicknamed the Whale or the Shmoo, Tacit Blue was the polar opposite of Have Blue. While Lockheed used flat plates, Northrop proved you could use curved Gaussian surfaces to scatter radar. It featured a flush, top-mounted intake to hide the engine blades from ground-based radar. It was slow, it was boxy, and it had the aerodynamic grace of a refrigerator, but it proved that stealth didn't have to look like a diamond. Every curve on the B-2 bomber today owes its life to this flying box. Rank 15, Mitsubishi X-2 Shinshin. Japan's X-2. Shinshin is a technical marvel, but it stays in Tier D because it was never meant for the fight. It was a technology demonstrator, a laboratory with wings. It featured S-duct intakes to hide the engine fans and 3D thrust vectoring nozzles for insane agility. Japan used it to prove they didn't need to rely solely on US tech. It's a brilliant piece of hardware, but since it has no internal weapons bay and was retired after only 34 flights, it remains a what-if, rather than a true predator. Tier C, the early pioneers and paper projects. Rank 14, HAL AMCA, India, and TITF Kaan, Turkey. These two represent the rising stars of the stealth world. They aren't in Tier D because they are serious, multi-billion-dollar programs with flyable prototypes. Turkey's Kaan is already in the air using twin F-110 engines to validate a sleek F-22-like frame. Meanwhile, India's AMCA is designed with advanced sensor fusion and an AI electronic pilot. They sit in Tier C because while the engineering is solid, they haven't yet proven their stealth coatings or internal weapons integration in a combat-ready state. They are the planes of tomorrow, but today, they are still proving their worth. Rank 13, Boeing F-15 SE Silent Eagle. This is aviation's most famous what-if. In 2009, Boeing tried to turn the UN stealthy F-15, which has a radar signature the size of a barn door, into a ghost. They added canted vertical stabilizers to bounce radar and conformal weapons bays to hide missiles. It was a brilliant concept for countries that couldn't get the F-35, but it failed because bolt-on stealth isn't true stealth. It only reduced the radar signature from the front, leaving it wide open from every other angle. It was a halfway solution in a world that wanted a full commitment. Rank 12, Lockheed F-117, Nighthawk. The Nighthawk changed everything. Its radar cross-section, RCS, was reportedly 0.0001 square meters, about the size of a marble on a radar screen. It flew 1,300 sorties in the Gulf War and hit 40% of strategic targets while representing only 2% of the Air Force. So why is it only at rank 12? Because it was a one-trick pony. It was subsonic, carried only 2 bombs, had no radar of its own, and was so aerodynamically unstable it needed computers just to stay level. Once the Serbians figured out how to track it with low-frequency radar in 1999, the myth of its invincibility was broken. Rank 11, Boeing Bird of Prey. If you want to know where the modern smooth stealth look came from, look at this. The Bird of Prey was a black project that stayed secret for nearly a decade after it stopped flying. It wasn't built for speed. It used a small commercial jet engine, but it was built to prove that you could use large, single-piece composite parts to eliminate the gaps and rivets that radar loves to find. It was the first to use a top-mounted intake that completely hid the engine blades from the ground. It's the highest-ranked Tier C plane because its research paved the way for every Tier B and Tier A ghost we're about to see. Tier B, the modern contenders. Rank 10, Kai KF-21, Boramae. South Korea's KF-21 is the honest stealth jet. It looks like an F-22, but currently it carries its missiles on external hardpoints, which spikes its radar signature. It's in Tier B because it was designed for block upgrades. Right now, it's a 4.5 generation fighter with stealth shaping and radar-absorbent material RAM. But Block 2 will move those weapons inside a dedicated bay. It's a pragmatic, high-performance masterclass in how to build a stealth program from scratch without the billion-dollar failures of its competitors. Rank 9, Sukhoi Su-57 Felon. The Felon is a beast in a dogfight, but as a ghost, it's controversial. Aviation geeks point to its exposed engine compressors and visible rivets as proof that its RCS is closer to a clean F-18 than an F-22. It uses plasma stealth and radar blockers to compensate, but physics doesn't lie. Its flat, wide-body design is easy to spot from the side. It's ranked here because it's a terrifyingly agile air superiority fighter, but in the game of see first, kill first, it's the loudest plane in the Tier B group. Rank 8, Shenyang J-35. Often dismissed as an F-35 clone, the J-35 is China's bid for carrier-based dominance. Unlike the F-35, it uses twin engines, giving it more thrust and reliability over open water. It features a diverterless supersonic inlet, DSI, that is cleaner and stealthier than older designs. It ranks higher than the Su-57 because its geometry is objectively tighter and more focused on signature reduction. We don't know the exact quality of its RAM coating, but on shape alone, it's a massive threat to any carrier strike group. Rank 7, Lockheed Martin RQ-170 Sentinel. The only flying wing in Tier B, the RQ-170 is a high-altitude surveillance ghost. Because it has no cockpit, no life support systems, and a totally smooth underside, it is incredibly difficult to track. It spent years over Iran and North Korea before anyone even knew it existed. It sits at rank 7 because, while it lacks the speed of a fighter, its operational stealth is elite. It only lost its invisible status when one was famously captured by Iran in 2011, revealing that even the best ghosts can be brought down by electronic warfare. Rank 6, Chengdu, J-20 Mighty Dragon. The Mighty Dragon is China's response to the F-22. It's huge, fast, and carries some of the longest-range air-to-air missiles in the world. Critics hate on its canards, those small front wings, claiming they reflect radar. But the J-20 uses them for extreme agility at high altitudes where the air is thin. With its integrated sensors and massive internal fuel capacity, it's designed to bypass escorts and take out tankers and AWACS. It is the gatekeeper of Tier A, only held back by engines that are still catching up to Western stealth standards. Tier A, the Elite Masters. Rank 5, Northrop YF-23. The YF-23 is the greatest plane the Air Force never bought. During the Advanced Tactical Fighter competition, it was objectively stealthier and faster than the F-22. It didn't use heavy thrust vectoring nozzles, instead it used massive V-tails and a trough exhaust system to hide its heat signature from infrared sensors. It lost because the military thought it was too radical and worried about Northrop's ability to manage the costs. To this day, aviation purists argue that the YF-23 was the superior stealth platform, a ghost that was simply ahead of its time. Rank 4. Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. The F-35 isn't just a plane, it's a node in a network. While it isn't as fast as the F-22, its stealth is more maintainable. Older stealth planes required thousands of hours of hand-applied tape and coatings. The F-35's skin is baked on, making it harder for radar to find seams. Its real power is sensor fusion, the ability to see every enemy on the battlefield and share that data with every other ship and plane. It doesn't need to win a dogfight because it kills you from 60 miles away while you're still looking at a blank radar screen. Rank 3. Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit. The B-2 Spirit is a physics-defying masterpiece. Because it has no vertical tail, there is almost nothing for radar waves to bounce back from. It is a large aspect stealth aircraft, meaning it can hide from low-frequency radars that usually catch stealth fighters. It can carry 40,000 pounds of nuclear or conventional ordnance across continents, refuel in midair, and vanish back into the clouds. It has been the gold standard for strategic stealth for 30 years, proving that if you have enough money, you can make a giant wing disappear. Rank 2. Northrop Grumman B-21 Raider. The B-21 Raider is the B-2's smarter, meaner younger brother. It is smaller, which inherently reduces its radar return, and it uses a digital-first architecture, meaning it can be upgraded with new stealth software overnight. Its air intake is so deeply integrated into the fuselage that it's almost invisible to the naked eye. We don't know much about its white coatings, but the Air Force claims it is designed to operate in contested environments where even the B-2 might struggle. It is the pinnacle of 21st century low observability. Rank 1. Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. 20 years after its first flight, the F-22 Raptor is still the undisputed king. It is the only aircraft that perfectly balances all aspects stealth, supercruise, and supermaneuverability. It can fly at Mach 1.8 without using afterburners, which would usually light it up like a flare on infrared sensors. Its radar cross-section is reportedly the size of a marble, yet it can outturn almost any jet in existence. It was so advanced that the US banned its export to any other country. When it comes to air dominance, there is the Raptor, and then there is everyone else. Stealth isn't just about hiding, it's about changing the rules of war. From the smiling failure of the X-32 to the untouchable grace of the Raptor, these 18 planes represent the most expensive game of hide-and-seek in human history. But technology never stops. As quantum radar and infrared tracking evolve, the question isn't who is the stealthiest today, but who will be the first to become visible tomorrow. Subscribe if you think the YF-23 should have won, and I'll see you in the next hangar.